So this morning, I'm doing my normal routine, unfortunately, I guess, of going through Instagram, and across my feed comes the Frankie Borelli kind of bladed chip shot from the Barstool Invitational, and the only way I can describe it is it felt like watching the Ernie Els six putt at Augusta for the first time all over again. Kind of needed to come chip to get it out of my system. And I also thought it'd be a fun time to record a video about this stuff. There are a few things that I think he could do better, and potentially if you struggle with this stuff, you could do better with. The first two have to do with the pre-shot routine. One thing that you can do from the word go before you ever start kind of deciding what kind of shot you're going to hit or anything like that is to try to lower the temperature. And so one of the things I say to people a lot is any shot is easy with the right expectations. We have a 30-yard shot here. I think this is about what distance he had. And the green is 30 yards deep. If I'm looking at this, and I know the situation for him is he kind of needed to hit it close. So some of this may be slightly irrelevant to him in that moment if he felt like he really needed to stick it to have a chance, which is fine. But we also can look out here and say, I only have to get it on the green. I would much rather have a putt than not have a putt at winning or the tie or whatever. And so if I lower the expectations, hey, just get it on the green, it's going to make me get in here and be a little bit more comfortable about what I need to do. If I look at this and I go, I must stiff this, I must get it within a couple inches, plus all of the pressure that already exists is naturally going to exist because of the moment, I mean, you're going to start to get tense. So the more you can lower the expectations and go, hey man, just get it on the green, it may make it easier for you to move through this in a way that we would like to see. Second, sometimes when we get tense, we start to get out of rhythm before we even step over the ball, and then we get over the ball and we're expecting ourselves to stay smooth. It can be tough to feel like you have a trigger to get the club going, and so then because you're kind of really anxious and it doesn't feel like there's a good moment to do this, all of a sudden the only way to start is a very explosive kind of start off of the ball. It's very jarring, like you're trying to break out of cement or something. What you can do is you can start to, in your pre-shot, establish a breathing pattern. So say that I want a 2-second breathing pattern. I'm going to inhale for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to exhale for 2 seconds. And I'm just going to keep going with that rhythm, and I'm going to feel like everything works off of that breathing rhythm. I'm going to keep it going with that as I'm setting up. And then wherever I'm at, right, I'm going to wait until I've done my exhale. And then once I start to, or I'm doing my exhale rather, I'm going to wait until I'm doing my exhale. And then as I'm feeling like I'm kind of getting ready for that inhale, that natural kind of hitting the 2-second mark, the end of the 2-second mark on my exhale, and I'm about to start my inhale, that's when I'm going to feel like that is my trigger. That's the thing that's helping me take this away, is that it's not by choice. I've stayed on this rhythm. Every 2 seconds, I start the next part of the cycle. I inhale for 2 seconds, I exhale for 2 seconds. When I get ready for that thing, it's just automatic. It is the thing that is telling me to go. It's not me making a conscious effort to get it going. It's just like, that's my cue to get the ball going, or get the club going rather. That way, again, it's a little bit easier to get this club going away nice and smooth. Third, and maybe the most important, the mechanics on this are fairly important. The first thing I might do, and I would have to kind of see this in person to know for sure, he might need to get just a tiny bit taller at address, and that might make things a tiny bit better. But the setup for the most part is fine. The swing itself is kind of where stuff gets going a little bit crazy. The first thing that he's going to do again is the club kind of jerks away. And it jerks away with the primary mover being the wrists. So he loads the wrists in a way to where the club head is almost getting to about ear high, somewhere between like shoulder and ear high, and the butt of the club has barely moved outside of his trail leg, so the leg that's farthest away from the target. Now what you need to know about that, when I load the wrists, I have to at some point unload them. If I do not, then I'm not ever going to touch the ground. And that's where I'm going to potentially blade it, top it, whiff it, whatever, right? So he has to, from this position, unload all of that wrist set. The other thing to know is that wrist set is going to create club head speed. So if I load as much as he did and then unload all of that, one, it's kind of, again, tough to make good contact, but still, just based off of that amount of wrist set alone, I'm probably going to hit it too far. Then on the way down, he compounds the issue. He starts the swing with a kind of sudden pull that way. Now, that does two things. When we pull this way, the club wants to get closer to us, so he's already set the wrist too much. And now the downswing, the way he's starting it, is loading the wrist even more. Two, the club is moving farther past the ball, or getting closer to passing the ball, rather. So viewed from this perspective, we're here, the handle's back here, and then he starts by moving that handle really close to the ball. Now, what this means is he's running out of time to get the club down. If he keeps going in a smooth way, if he allows his body to kind of lift and rotate into the finish, this is going to get way past the ball before this has time to get down. And so that low point is going to be really, really far forward. If I do that, if I load as much as he did and then kind of allow my body to go into the finish, I'm going to go right over top of it. So what does he do instead? He's going to slam on the brakes. You see the scar tissue clear as day. The handle is going to kind of rapidly move into the middle of his feet, and it's not going to move forward again. It's going to stay right here. And you see it in his knees as well. His knees start to dip because he's trying really hard to get this club that's in a high position down to the ground. And so what that's going to do, one of two things. If I come in and I kind of have all of this wrist set, I get it forward, and then I slam on the brakes, I'm going to get what he did. I'm going to get a very, very bladed shot, very, very thin shot. Or if I successfully can navigate this towards the ground, so if I take all of that wrist set, now there's a lot of leading edge pointed down, and I buckle my knees and kind of get the handle down in time. It's tough to see and hear, but I would have hit that shot extraordinarily fat. That ball might have gone, if I was on actual grass, that ball might have gone a few feet, okay? So again, he's got two options, and neither of them are good. He's either going to blade it into the water, or he's going to chunk it 2 feet in front of him, okay? So what do we need to do instead? One, again, get into a place to where the rhythm off of the ball is better. We want to see a little bit more equal movement out of the rotation and the club head. Yes, the club head is going to travel a little bit. At 30 yards, we probably do need a little bit of wrist set here, but it's going to feel much more one-to-one in terms of rotation and wrist set than what he demonstrated, where the hands are still down here and the club's all the way up there. We're going to feel, if there was a steel rod in between my belly button and that club head, we're going to feel that kind of stays together. And then maybe I set my wrists a little bit. Then on the way down, instead of jerking the handle forward again, I'm going to again feel like the club head and the belly button are staying pretty much together. I do not want my knees to buckle. I don't want the handle to completely stop. I'm going to let this club head and my belly button come forward together. And just like we talked about in the backswing, where a little bit of wrist set is fine, as you come through, you're also going to have a little bit of release. But we haven't taken the club so extremely off of the floor. It's going to be a little bit closer to the ground already, even with this still baked in. And so then all I have to do is release that little bit more, and we should be able to create a fairly repeatable action. So I can do this a number of ways in terms of trajectories that I want to play. So that's a little bit lower trajectory. You can see based off of the amount of distance that we have between the front edge and where the hole location is, I don't have to do anything special here. But I also have the potential, if I felt a little bit like maybe the greens were faster or firmer, I can also, off of that lie that he's playing off of, I can play it a little bit more forward from back of stance. I can open the face up and basically take the same technique just kind of swinging maybe a little bit more across the ball, and throw it right at it and spin it just like that. And so you have your options. You can pick out which shot you feel comfortable with. There's a number of ways to get this in a reasonable position. Reasonable being like either close to, hey, at least we had a putt at it. As long as things are moving somewhat cohesively. And again, want to make a really, really big point here. You do not want the handle and the knees going down through the ball. It's just really, really bad. So if we can get into a spot to where it feels like you're going to more often be able to strike the ground, not kind of go over the ball and feel like you're going to blade it. If you feel like the wrists are kind of working in a way to where you can touch the ground more consistently in a smooth way, it's going to allow you to take your body into the finish more consistently, and so that's going to make sure that strike stays forward of the golf ball and we're hitting it really solid.